This is the Scratch tutorial on motions. So we're going to get to play with these motion scripts and see what they can do to our sprites. Alright, so what we have over here is Mr. Scratch the Cat, and Mr. Scratch the Cat is going to get down with some motions today. Let's get started. We'll just work our way from top to bottom and in between and everything else. So first off, move 10 steps. You can zoom in, zoom out. Let me zoom in so you can see this a little better. Move 10 steps is a little misleading. If I double click this script to show you what it does, you can see that Scratch Cat does indeed move, but if we were to measure his foot and count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps, we're nowhere close with this script. There's no way it's moving 10 steps. So what it's referring to is 10 pixels. So he's moving 10 pixels at a time. The pixels that make up this stage, 0 to this end, 240, 0 to that end, 180, 0 to here, 180. If you wanted the entire distance, you would add those distances up. Okay, so moving 10 steps. Ta-da! You can also, as we saw before, turn Scratch by a degrees, which is referring to a circle, 360 degrees. So if I go back to my scripts, okay, double click, and he will rotate around. Lots of fun, right? Any one of these values can be moved in a negative direction as well. Negative 10 steps, you can do the moonwalk. Negative 15 degrees, work on your backflips. Alright, now we're back at 90 degrees. If you want, go ahead and throw in a turn left, 15 degrees. Or, as I showed you before, you can use the negative value. Alright, point in direction is again referring to 360 degrees, and the values here been identified by their directions as well. So you don't have to memorize the degrees on a circle. You can see that 90 represents right, negative 90 left, 0 is up, and 180 degrees he'll be facing down. So 180 degrees facing down. Okay, point 90, good. Can you point negative 90? Wow, you're great. Up and down. Scratch is such a great listener. There we go. And pointing towards would be referring to the mouse pointer currently, or you can also have it point towards certain sprites. For now, I'm just going to use this forever block, forever loop, to show you what happens when Mr. Scratch the Cat follows your pointer. Mouse pointer, there we go. Hey, look at that. He is locked in on this mouse. Wherever it goes, he goes. Now, you can have a lot of fun with these motion blocks. And I'm going to go back over to the motions here. And we're going to go back to the move 10 steps. So this forever loop, forever block, is an example of a loop. And as you probably already know, a loop will repeat any instruction or combination of instructions as long as you'd like it to, making our job a lot easier. There we go. So when we press the green flag, we want Scratch the Cat to forever move 10 steps. And as you can see, he flew right off the screen. So it's always good to have if on edge bounce. Alright. And he can flip upside down, as you recall, because we have the can rotate in any direction. If I said only left or right, he would only rotate left or right. No rotation, he only faces one direction. Not the band, but the direction. Ha ha ha. Okay, back to full rotation. Now, what's interesting about this always point towards the mouse is that if I add this, he can follow my mouse, and this is kind of a fun way to make movement. Or give the user control the movement of a sprite. Now let's talk about values. As you can see, we can change the values of many of these scripts, including the speed at which he is moving. So instead of 10 steps, 10 pixels per second, or whatever the rate is, we can bump it up to 30, and it'll hang with my mouse speed a lot better. You're working with younger students, 10 seems to be good, because their mouse control is a little slower. So as they're moving their mouse, there you go. Alright. It's really quite entertaining. Alright, if you want them to also turn forever and not follow the mouse pointer, actually let me show you what this looks like without the turn. And let's have them point 90. Okay. left and right. We got that. Throw a turn in there, he's going to be forever turning. And ta-da, look at that. If you put the movement first, he's going to move and then turn. So remember, Scratch the program reads your scripts from top to bottom. So he's moving and then rotating. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm getting dizzy watching him work on his cartwheels and front flips and tumbling, so let's stop that now. Oh, look at that timing. Stopped right on 90 degrees. You can also use the point in any direction to kind of determine which way you want your sprite to face. For example, sometimes in the past I've had certain sprites on this side of the stage, and they're battling a sprite on this side of the stage, so I only wanted the sprite on the right to be facing the left. That way they're always facing each other. And in fact, let me actually bring a sprite in so you can see that. We have the cat versus bat battle here. And I want, let's make it Mrs. Bat. Okay, just so we've got two here. Miss Bat. Alright, so Miss Bat is going to always face, so we're going to say point in direction. And always, meaning forever. So in the controls, forever loop. Forever point -90, which is to the left. Third problem with Mrs. Bat is that she's upside down. So we can easily change that with the rotation style. Now they're always facing each other. And just to make it a little more realistic and also show you another motion, let's use the change the axis blocks. So we used move 10 steps earlier. But, as you recall, Scratch uses the X and Y axis to determine movement and location. So, if we were to use the change X by 10, then there you can see that Scratch a Cat will change his location by 10 pixels on the X axis every second, or whatever the rate is. So, let me grab the bounce off the edge here. And you can see that Scratch continually wants to go into the edge of the stage there because he's moving on the x-axis in a positive direction. If we moved in a negative direction, you'll recall that that is to the left. All right, pretty neat, right? Now, let's change this up. Instead of the x-axis, what if changed the y-axis? Positive, so up and down. Okay, and over here we're going to have Mrs. Bat change her y-axis by negative. Alright, so see, they want to go to opposite corners of the stage because this is the battle. There we go. Alright, so this could be the battle, and this is an example of using point in direction. So let's stop that there. Let's see what else we have in this box of goodies. We have the go-to location. You can have this be a way to have your sprites always go to a starting point. So what you would want to do is move your sprites to where you'd like them to start each new level or each program. And once you move them there and you click on your sprite, you'll see in the workspace the X and Y coordinates for that sprite's current location. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and use my go-to block when I start this program. So when green flag clicked, go to -185 and 16. And as you can see, when you move your sprite, the block in the inventory automatically updates, not the block that's in your code. So if you want a new location for your sprite, but you've already put the code in, you're going to have to swap it out. Or just manually punch it in by reading the coordinates over here. I want you to start here when I press the green flag. Let me get rid of that. And Batsy, you're going to start here at this location. Thank you for already waiting there. And we can say when we press the green flag, also change your direction and also change your direction. So let's see what happens here. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, they move. They're opposite corners. They're preparing for battle. Now let's say I wanted to start the game over, start the program over. According to the go-to block, they should go to their starting points. Green flag, ta-da, they went. Alright, that is the go-to block. It's great for bringing your sprites into starting positions. We have the go-to an object. So when a certain event happens or whenever you choose, the sprite can go to a specific person or a specific place, object. So they can go to the mouse pointer, they can go to another sprite. In this case, you can create a chase. So if I say I want Mr. Scratch the Cat to go to Mrs. Bat, when I press the green flag and forever do that, then what will happen is he will kind of chase around Mrs. Bat. So green flag, boom, and he went there. Okay? Always goes to Mrs. Bat. Now let's see, if I add let's have some fun with this. Always point towards mouse pointer. So Batsy's always going to point towards my mouse, and she's always going to be moving. And let's see if Scratch the Cat will chase her. Okay, Batsy, let's go. Ta-da! And they're flying together. Yes! What a super game. So you can see how easy it is to use these scripts and blocks of code to have a lot of fun. Okay, now we have the glide block. The glide block is a much smoother way to move a sprite. Let me get rid of these here. If I were to use Mrs. Bats here and I said when I press, let's see, when I press left space key, left arrow key, then I want her to glide to a new location. So I want her to go to here. Now that I've moved her, you'll recall that the motion block has reset the go-to position. It's -188, -123, or I can look up here. So I want her to glide to -188 and -123. Now, 1 second is going to be pretty quick, as you will see. Let's have her start back over here. And that's going to be 158 by 20. Okay, green flag. And when I press the left arrow key, she glides in 1 second, 1/1000, boom, she's done. If I were to restart this and change how long it takes for her to get there, that will, of course, determine her speed. So maybe I want her to get there in 1/4 of a second, 0.25, the second being represented by decimals. This time, restart it and left click, boom, rapid speed Batsy. Now, if I wanted her to take her time, give her 5 seconds to get there. Slow descending onto her prey. Very cool, right? So much fun with changing the values here. All right. One other thing I'd like to show you with motions today is that you can shrink down the size of your sprites on your stage so that they have much more room to move around. Now, don't worry. In this view, they look pretty tiny. But remember, the users are going to be seeing this game from full screen view. Boom. And they're much bigger. Okay? Alright guys, so I hope you continue with these tutorials. It's going to be a lot of fun, and by the end of these tutorials, we'll actually make a simple little game that you can have fun with and build upon. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.